I have a hedgehog, right? And it is the easiest shit to clean because it's like you're holding a hedgehog and it like poops in your hands, and then you just throw it away.
Well, that's gross.
I mean, I guess.
It's like
You're like, oh, chocolate sprinkles.
It's like, yeah, it's small and like hard, and it doesn't. Yeah, I mean, I
what
wash
does
my
a
hands.
hedgehog eat, by the way?
A lot of things, actually. You'd be surprised. Obviously, hedgehog kibble, right?
Yes.
They make that.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, they make hedgehog kibble or cat food. If you don't want to pay the high dollar for the small
so it's
bag,
like a raccoon.
you can give it cat food.
Yeah, exactly like a raccoon.
But also, they eat pretty much anything you give it. I give my hedgehog, Lucy is her name. I give Lucy mealworms, but they have to be alive.
Yeah.
They have to be alive.
I've heard of that, yeah.
It is so funny. Like, she'll like grab the mealworm and just
Like a spaghetti noodle.
like, yeah, just the whole thing.
Alive.
Where do you get
Alive.
a hedgehog, by the way?
From a hedgehog
Breeder?
breeder. Yeah.
PetSmart.
Yeah. Where I got my hedgehog though is so my wife's boss bought a hedgehog for their daughter because she really wanted one. And then, well, her daughter's 5, so she was afraid to pick up the hedgehog.
Yeah.
And then so was my wife's boss. They were afraid to pick up the hedgehog.
Oh.
So the thing about hedgehogs is they are naturally prey. So they are not social animals.
Okay.
So in order to make them social, you have to handle them for at least 2 hours a day. An hour in the morning, an hour at night.
What?
Yeah. Or they won't become social and they'll become aggressive and they'll want to quill you all the time.
Okay.
It takes about 3 or 4 months to actually like tame them and get them like used to you handling them, like as a baby hedgehog, right? But this one is almost 2 years old and has not been like handled, just lived in the cage.
He's angry.
So it's just angry all the time. And sometimes she'll come out
Lucy.
and then she's like the cutest. Yeah, so we named her Lucille Ball
I like that. I like that.
because she rolls up in a ball.
And quills you.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, she's gotten me a couple times, but she's starting to, we've had her for, I don't know, a month now, and she's starting to like randomly have really good days. So we like pick her up and then she'll just like run around on your hands and you can hold her, and then I put her on her butt and she balls up and then she just kind of sticks her head out of the
Got a
ball.
rubber belly.
So I've tried.
Yeah.
And some days she's like, the heck? And then other days she's like hissing at me like, and like throwing her
Yeah.
quills
like a
at
cat.
me and stuff. Yeah, but anyways, they eat anything. You can feed them like junk food, like chips.
Yeah,
sometimes.
Doritos, man. They fucking love
Yeah.
nacho cheese Doritos, I heard.
Yeah, little bits of cheese, although they're lactose intolerant, so you can't give them a lot.
Pay for that later.
Yeah,
Those poops aren't so hard when they come out.
Exactly. But
Wow.
yeah, they're not much different from a dog, or a cat, I guess.
So you just hold it in your hand.
Yeah.
We learned a lot just now.
Welcome to another episode of Exotic Pets with Atlas. I'm Rich.
I'm Brian.
I'm Dolan.
There we go.
Inspired by the adventures of our nurses, therapists, and techs, A Beer with Atlas is the only healthcare traveling, craft beer drinking podcast. Each week, we'll open a few beers, talk about the brewery and the style of beer, and then dive into some research curated specifically for each episode. In the end, we hope each one sounds like a conversation you'd have with your friends while enjoying a few cold ones. We got a special guest here today.
I guess. Special guest, Kyle Newsome, you brought us one of these beers.
Yeah.
From Side Project. And I kind of I teased this last week. Not necessarily about the brewery this week, but more about the style. So Kyle brought us this one from Side Project Brewing in St. Louis, Missouri. Actually outside of St. Louis, in Maplewood, Missouri. This one is just called Bruin. And then I brought my favorite Oud Bruin, which is from Odell, who we don't necessarily like too much, right?
It's never been on record. We always just say that one brewery.
Yeah, that one brewery.
So it's on record now.
It's on record now.
Their tap room we don't like.
We don't
weren't-
like their tap room.
The one tap room wasn't very friendly to us. That's okay. I get it. Maybe they had some issues before we got there. Sure.
Yeah.
With somebody else, maybe underage. Who knows? That's fine.
I don't know. They wouldn't let us record there.
Yeah. They were super weird about it.
They wouldn't even let us take a picture there.
No.
Although I did.
Take that, Odell.
Yeah.
We took a picture.
Boom.
So before you
fuzzy, but
before
we
you go
didn't
on,
use it.
I have to. Speaking of getting things on record,
Yes,
right?
yes.
I have to get this on record. Kyle, what is your title here at Atlas?
You want my official title or my fun title?
I want your fun title.
I want both titles.
Give me both. Yeah.
My fun title is Bearded Wonder. 'cause
Oh,
you
Bearded
can't
Wonder.
see me, but I do have a very large red beard.
Yes, very large.
Very large. I'd say like what, 10 inches?
Arguably the best bearded Atlas.
Yes.
Arguably.
Sorry, Matt Lahorn. You're out.
Yeah. His looks like he's homeless sometimes.
His looks like
Yeah.
animals live in it. Kyle's looks like he should be brewing
It's
beer.
sculpted and it's on purpose.
Yes.
Or
Matt's looks like
being-
he just forgot.
a fill-in member of ZZ Top, I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Future career if I ever learn
You know
how to
what's
play bass.
beautiful about that beard? There's not much white in it.
No. Well, Kyle's younger. Yeah, you're a little bit younger than us.
Yeah, I plucked the white hairs.
Okay. There's a secret to it right there, but I let mine go. Rich has let his go.
I love mine. It's got
It's all
gray.
white hairs
it's
now.
Fine.
We-
It is
otherwise
what
we'd
it
have no
is.
beards.
Right. It is what it is. I'm not gonna hide it.
Okay. Oh, we're just doubling up right now.
Well,
Okay.
I want to get the difference between the two. So,
Okay.
clearly one of them, side project. Kyle, give me a little bit of background on side project.
Side project was started by Corey King. He used to be the barrel manager at Perennial. And then obviously side project started as a side project. He started brewing at Perennial and barrel aging it and then releasing it and then opened the cellar and eventually had enough money to start the brewery. And he's been doing very well. He has a lot of great friends in the beer community. And he's just an awesome guy. And Karen's also an awesome person, his wife.
You've been there a number of times.
Yeah.
Right?
Is there a reason that you go there? Like, do you have family or you just like this brewery?
I just like the brewery. And
Holy
it's St.
crap.
Louis.
That's like a 8-hour drive.
It's St. Louis, right?
It's 6 if you speed.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a 6-hour drive. Wow, all right.
I do have a high school buddy and his wife that live down there. I went to high school with both of them. So most of the time I
Okay.
do have a free place to crash when it's not COVID times.
Oh, there you go.
Gotcha.
So Oud Bruin, it was one of the first styles I fell in love with because it's a sour, but it's kind of a brown. It could be a red. Oud Bruin means old brown.
Okay.
In Belgium, like
Hey,
Flemish,
sure.
maybe?
Flemish.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was one of the styles I fell in love with in the beginning, and the Medler from Odell was the first one I ever had, and I had it in Colorado at Odell's at their tap house.
Okay.
And because I talked to him, this was probably maybe 7 years ago, and I'm like, generally I don't like beer flavored beer, which was dumb to say at the time. Right now I love it.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, I got something for you." And we call this the Medler, and that's what this is what it is. It's old. It's been around for years, like hundreds of years.
Yeah.
And try it, and I instantly fell in love with it.
It's one of the very first beers I had that had like stone fruity flavors.
Yeah.
You know? Like you
Yeah.
get that sort of stuff in there.
Reminds me of a peach or a plum or something like
Yep.
that. Here's the thing. I forgot which. So I have 2 glasses here. We all do.
You already forgot which one
I
was
forget
which?
which one I poured in what, but because of the ABV, I was able to decipher which one is
Oh,
which.
okay.
Oh.
Yeah, because there's a big difference.
What is the difference?
The first one, the Bruin from St. Louis, that one's at 5%, and then the Medler is at 8.6.
Oh, so you should definitely be able to tell the difference.
Yeah, you can tell the
Well,
difference.
one of them right off the bat is way more tarty, tongue tickly,
Yeah.
and sour than the other.
Did you notice the one from Odell, the Medler, was way more carbonated?
Yep.
Yeah.
Way more carbonated.
That's why I know it's this one on my left side.
That's why I know it's this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't pour it any harder. You've had these styles before. You're a sour guy, Kyle. What's your take on the Oud Bruin style?
I guess my take would be that it depends on the range, if it falls closer to red or brown, and how sour or tart it is.
Okay.
So there can be a wide variance in the style. So some are right up my alley, and some I'm just like, not so much for me.
Really? So you want them more sour? Is that what you want? Is that what you're looking for?
I think it depends on the balance. If it's
Okay.
too sour, it can be bitey, and if it's not enough malt, it's not quite in style for me.
Dang. Can you imagine having a palate where you have like in the style?
In the style, you have
yeah,
opinions.
we're just like, we'll just pour it in our gullet and see what happens.
I'll drink it. Yeah.
And this makes me feel good.
This is a style of beer for me. It has to be cold. Like if you
Yeah.
get this to room temp,
Right.
no, it's just like drinking stomach acid.
I could see it.
at
Well,
that point.
I could see that with the more sour one,
Yeah.
right? But the other one, the Medler, I guess.
Yeah.
The less sour tasting. I think that that one I could maybe let it warm up
Well,
just
we'll
a little
find
bit.
out.
To be fair, the Medler, I've had that in my fridge. That was probably the 2018 release, so
Okay.
it's been in there for a while.
Yeah.
I
And that's
I-
what it's supposed to do.
Right. So it has
lot of
mellowed
those.
quite a bit.
So it's an Oud Bruin.
Exactly. Yes.
Oh, that's good. I like that. That side project one is nice.
That's sour.
It is.
Yeah,
It's
I like
really
it.
good.
So here's a couple things I wrote down about the brewery. They have,
Side project.
yes, they have a collaboration currently with some brewery you've heard of before, Weldworks.
Oh,
Have you had this? Really?
They have-
Oh.
at least I saw two.
Have I had this? Did you bring this back? I don't think so.
Blanche Blend number 4,
Okay.
which is a wine barrel aged wit beer, which is 4%.
Oh my
A
god.
That's
wine-
pretty low.
barrel aged wit beer.
So probably pretty dry.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the other one is a stout. It's a rye imperial stout with coconut and vanilla. That one's 15%.
Whoa.
You know, so that's about right.
Yeah.
I would say that's
Okay.
my preferred area. Some of the other beers I wrote down from their website. This is a brewery that you go to if you're liking these sort of styles, right? Like you're not going to go here and just get a straight up IPA or anything like that. Looks
Right.
like to me. Blueberry Rosehip. So it's an oak aged Missouri saison,
Okay.
6%. So you're talking floral, kind of flowery, oaky, woody barrel stuff.
I got Missouri jokes, but I'll keep them to myself.
That's okay.
Yep.
And then this one was, I think it's a series that they do, but it's called Pulling Nails, and it's a blend, so it's number 14. So it's got
I assume pulling nails like pulling it out of the cask, right? I mean, pulling it out of the barrel. Yeah.
So it's got raspberry, blueberry saison with Brett, so you're gonna get some of that funk, that
Yep.
flowery funk stuff. Missouri, here's a word I don't know, Chambourcin, Chambourcin, Wild Ale.
That's a grape.
There you go.
Oh.
And
It
funky
grows
saison.
in Missouri?
I think so.
Interesting.
So, probably like Nebraska grapes or wines. It's
Yeah.
probably pretty sweet. And then they barrel age it for months and months, and it's about a 7%. So,
Okay.
you're a pretty good brewer and you're doing blends.
Yeah.
Like that's not something that everybody's doing. So,
Well, even like the one you were talking about, the stout that they do with Weldworks, it's called Achromatic Vibes. A lot of times when they release a stout, they say how much of each recipe and what barrels they were in for how long and what percentage it makes up
Yeah.
of the blend.
that's cool.
That's sciencey.
And it's just fun,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
To know what you're getting, I guess.
Like you said, our palates aren't nearly that developed yet.
No.
Yeah. Ours is like, I like this beer. Yeah, I do too.
Maybe after this episode.
probably like-
It'll wear off on us.
98% of the episodes that we do, right? We're just, oh, this beer's the best.
We do gush about beers quite
Yeah.
often.
Well,
Yeah.
we get good beer,
We
which
do.
is
We
nice.
We do.
really
We
do.
really do.
Yeah.
I would like to go back and see what the lowest rated beer we've had. It'd be interesting.
I would assume it's got to be a saison because I think that's one style that we all don't necessarily love.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Maybe we had some disclaimers like, for a saison, it's probably really great.
It's probably-
for
Yeah.
us, it's too much of the.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
You remember like episode number 3? If you go way back, we did the Alaska Brewing Company's
The spruce tips
spruce
one.
tips.
Yeah.
And like I
With
wanted
cranberry or
it to
something?
taste like tree, and
Yeah.
it did not.
Yeah.
It was very not sprucey.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
if you like spruce in your mouth, I have a gin something from Side Project.
Oh well, there you
Oh,
go.
from the same brewery?
Yeah.
Gin.
Nice.
That's
now
a
we're
quote.
talking.
If you like spruce in your mouth,
Dolan can edit that later.
He knows a guy.
there you go.
This brewery also has what we've talked about many times is like one of those membership clubs.
Yeah.
You know? Are you in the membership club?
I'm on the waiting list.
Oh,
That's
on
what I
the
saw.
waiting list.
So-
There's a waiting list.
La Coterie,
Damn.
Yeah.
I think is how you say it. And yeah, it's a wait list, invite only. If somebody comes out, then somebody else gets pulled up off the list. But it's been like years and years. And
Really?
It's not one of those where kind of like Boiler, they had one.
Yeah.
And then they expanded it and expanded it. And now pretty much anybody can be on it.
Yeah.
This one seems still to be like, eventually, like beginning of it was invite only. Like, I know a guy that likes beer.
Yeah.
can you let them in? It's not like the ones that we have around here where it's just like, here's my money.
Right.
Can I be? And they're like, yeah, sure.
You're in.
And they count their money.
Yeah.
So it's like
Is
that.
that what Boiler does?
That's cool. I mean, it's pretty true to their brewery name, right? A side project.
Yeah.
And then like this is a commitment, I guess.
So here's some of the stuff they have here, merchandise-wise, that I haven't seen before, which is my new niche thing. But they have a lambic box, which I've never seen. So they take wood from an old barrel, and they build a little box, and then you could put your nice lambic beer in it.
Oh.
It just kind of fits in there. It's almost like a display piece.
Nice. Okay.
And
It's basically replacing the lambic basket.
there you go. From like the real, like,
The
what's that
OGs.
brewery? Yeah, like the one.
Fontaine and
Yep.
Cantillon.
That goes
That
around.
one.
Oh, I understand.
So that one.
Basically, it's to keep the yeast at the bottom, so you pour slowly and you don't get any yeast floaties in your beer.
Yeah, it's one of those things like sometimes you'll see a beer and we have to roll it.
Right.
It's kind of similar to that.
Again,
sort of
we
thing.
just drink it and we're like, oh, look, there's floaties.
And we're like, whoa, you got the last pour. Sorry, bro. So they do that in 375 and 750 mils. But there's like a local place in Maplewood that makes these for them.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a craftsman sort of thing. And they're $50, which, yeah, whatever. They have branded, I would call it a fanny pack. They call it a waist pack.
No, they're fanny packs.
It's a fanny
They're
pack.
fanny packs.
But they have those. This is something I have looked for forever at breweries, and
Okay.
I've never seen it until today. Toddler T-shirts. So you'll see a onesie at some
yeah.
breweries,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
until you're either a baby or you're like a 16-year-old kid or a small dad, there's nothing for you. At this place, they have toddler T-shirts, so I was like, oh, that's cool.
That's pretty cool.
Enameled pins, like for your lapel.
Oh, yeah.
So I know Disney is a big thing with enamel pins, and there's like a whole like collector's market and trade situation sort of thing going on.
Yep.
They have them there, and then they also had glass Christmas ornaments, which I thought was pretty cool.
So Christmas ornaments, like it's a weird thing, but my mother-in-law is in love with them. Anywhere we go, if I get her a Christmas ornament, she's like set, and it makes it on the Christmas tree every year.
We have a tree upstairs at our house that's full of ornaments from trips or places.
Okay.
And then we have another one downstairs that's more of like we got these at the store.
Ah,
So it's more of like it's not as cool as the other ones,
Remember when we got Dolan the pickle ornament?
Hell yeah, I remember
makes
that.
it in my tree every year.
There we go.
Since you guys got it, yeah.
The pickle.
Not Pickle Rick.
It,
No, it's not Pickle Rick. I wish it
close.
was.
it
close.
looked like a pickle Rick.
Yeah.
And I mean, it has eyeballs, the pickle. So,
Does it really?
yeah, I'm pretty sure it does. They'll look at it again.
And if you find it, you get a prize.
Yeah.
That is true. So Maplewood. Just a little bit of information I wrote down because there ain't much there.
No.
I looked up like famous people, and there was 4 athletes from there, and they were all from like the 1920s. 2 of them were brothers.
Okay.
Okay.
There was a baseball player and a football player, so there's not much there.
All right.
It was built as like a bedroom community for St. Louis. So very similar to like stuff in New York City, outside of New York. They were like, hey, you know what? It's real smoggy and dirty, and there's tons of people in St. Louis. You should maybe get a weekend house here in Maplewood. And the rich people were like, cool, let's do it. That sort of thing.
All right.
It was a little cooler temperature-wise, and it was just less crowded and less dirty. So that was one of the things that why the town is even around.
Nice.
The other thing I saw was they had a law on the books, and it was related to domestic violence. So if you called the police twice in 6 months about, hey, this guy's beat me up or she's stabbing me with a steak knife, if you called them twice in 6 months, they could kick you out of your house. There was like an eviction law. So if you're like, you bothered the police with your problem, they were like, get out of here.
Sounds like Missouri.
They don't want
Sounds
you
like
there.
Missouri.
Yeah, so you're out. So that was a thing that happened up until like the 40s-ish.
Wow.
But I mean, like, there were probably somebody back then that was just like, handle your own shit. Like, don't.
I think that's how
Maybe.
a lot of it was.
Yeah.
A lot of the houses in the town were built 1900 to 1910.
Okay.
So that was kind of like a big exodus of folks from St. Louis for the weekend thing. But then a lot of them went to World War I, and some of them didn't come back. And so that was kind of stunted the town's growth. But it's always been like a suburb of St. Louis, like at a place that you could go that was close, felt like you were driving somewhere or going someplace, a little bit further away, but you're still close enough to the town. You could go back on the weekend or, for Monday for work or whatever. But
Sweet.
What side is it directionally from St. Louis?
I think it's...
Is it north side?
Northwest.
Yeah.
Northwest? Okay.
Schlafly, I think I'm saying that right. They have a tap room or something there. Bottle Works,
pub.
it says.
Restaurant kind
Yeah.
of
Is that how you pronounce it? I always thought it was Schlafly.
Schlafly? Maybe.
Either way, I don't like their beer.
Either way, they have one of the best pumpkin beers I've ever had in my life.
Okay, I'll give you that. Yeah,
Super
I'll give
good.
you that.
All of these things on record. Here we go.
Rich is talking truth today.
In the Southwest Terminal at the airport there in St. Louis, there is a Schlafly, however you want to pronounce it, tap room. And I will reluctantly go there because there's no other choices.
I was just there. Yeah.
They have a good Hefeweizen, too, by the way, if you're into the Hefeweizen.
Gross. Bananas.
I
He
mean, if
doesn't
you
like Heifers, just like Saisons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too much florally stuff.
Clove. I don't want clove in my beer.
You want it in your cigarettes.
Maybe, yes. Yeah.
Remember the clove cigarette? That was a big deal.
16-year-old me definitely remember those.
How'd you get those, by the way?
I don't know. I don't
mean,
know.
you know.
We found them on the side of the road.
Did you go through an emo goth phase where you were like dyed your hair black, had
Maybe
it
a
really
little bit.
long,
Maybe a little bit.
black fingernail
Oh, I used to have
polish?
black hair all the time.
Yep.
High school and college, my hair was black.
Yeah. Dude, when I
Yeah.
discovered the Ramones, oh my goodness. Yes.
It was on,
Yeah.
huh?
And the Doors, oh boy.
You had those leather pants and...
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
I like that.
It's hard for me to imagine.
I can
I'm like
totally
trying
picture
to
it.
like
This
picture
is
this.
late 80s, man. This is late 80s.
You know what just before I came in here today,
Okay.
I work with your daughter. She's on my team.
Yes,
And she said, you know what? I actually listened to your guys' podcast.
she does. She won't tell me.
the
She
beer
won't
one?
tell me.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah.
This podcast.
I can't wait
Yeah.
till she hears about your leather pants and all
Oh,
that
she
stuff.
knows. The mullet and everything else.
You
She
should talk to
knows.
her and get some pictures, and we might actually have to do a picture episode.
Oh,
of
I'll share.
embarrassing
I'll
photos
definitely-
of Rich.
I got nothing to hide. I got nothing
If you
to hide.
look hard enough, we can find that stuff. I'm sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Is Riley into craft beer? Is she into that?
She is not.
She is not.
Oddly enough, she doesn't really drink at all.
Okay.
So
Okay. Fair.
There's still time.
I have tried with her when she's at the house. Like I've tried, here, try this or whatever. She's, Scarlett more, my youngest daughter, is more, maybe a little bit more into
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I have seen, and she's still underage. I have seen, she has a friend named Tito.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Hey.
well,
Well, that's fitting.
her name's not Tito.
Oh.
Oh, this is a cover.
Exactly.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah,
You're protecting the innocent.
Okay.
All right, I like that.
Yep.
So here's the thing that I wrote down because I found this on the website I was looking at, and it was something we've never talked about before. But it was interesting. But it's true to maple wood.
Okay.
So this is specific. Tons of air pollution, especially back in the day.
Really?
So 1890s up into the 30s or 40s, they were burning coal like most places did, right?
Okay.
So you'd get the coal delivery to your house. You had the coal chute to the basement and blah,
Yep.
blah, blah.
Yep.
They had a specific kind of coal in Missouri. It was real soft, like almost malleable. You could crush it in your hand. And it put out more smoke than a hard coal would do.
Okay.
But that was just what they had in Missouri, and that's what they used.
Sure.
So in 1893, the city council was like, you know what? People can't breathe here in this town. This is not great. Let's not do it. So they tried to ban thick gray smoke in the city limits. But guess what? They couldn't enforce it. And there was a couple of places. The big one was called Heitzberg Packing and Provisions.
Okay.
So like a trucking company that also did like some like food distribution stuff, and they were the main offender in the town with the big smokestacks, right? And they're like, we're running this town, and you're not going to tell us what we can and cannot do.
Piss off.
And so that's what happened. They couldn't enforce it, and that was it. 1933, so 40 years later, the mayor there was named Bernard Dickman. You know, Bernard Dickman.
Sure.
And he created this thing called the Citizen Smoke Committee.
Okay.
So it was like a neighborhood watch sort of situation. Basically like, my neighbor's got tons of smoke coming out of his house. Call the police. That sort of thing. And his they said his personal secretary was in charge. So this guy named Charles, I think it was. 97% of homes back then used coal to heat their houses.
Wow.
Which is, I think, probably pretty accurate for that time.
Sure.
November 28th, 1939. There was this thing that happened, weather-wise. They said it was a meteorological temperature inversion.
Inversion?
Yeah, so it trapped the smoke from coal burning stuff close to the ground. So it was almost like a fog. It couldn't leave. It was just stuck close to the ground. And this one day, the weather pattern happened, and it couldn't leave the town. It was so dark that they had the street lights on all day, all night, like it was just pitch black outside.
Yeah.
People couldn't breathe. They couldn't leave their houses. It was kind of a big deal, and it hung out for about 7 or 8 days until it finally lifted and people could go outside again and breathe and do their thing.
Okay.
Because of that, the city council finally was like, okay, we need to do something here.
Enough is enough.
Yeah, this is pretty bad. Like we pretended it wasn't happening, and obviously it is. They call it the day that the sun didn't shine. They also call it Black Tuesday because it was literally black outside, almost like in like Oklahoma and stuff when they would have the dust storms roll through and the sun would be blocked out. It was like that. So they did. First thing they did was like, we got to get rid of this soft coal that burns this smoke. So they placed an order down to Arkansas. They said, hey, bring us some of that hard stuff you guys got. You know, the hard coal, the stuff you get for Christmas in your stocking, like Dolan got. And they did. They shipped it up there, and that's what they started using.
Okay.
And then they had a new smoke ordinance where you're not supposed to do whatever between X times during the day.
Yep.
Furnace efficiencies got better, so like they kind of learned how to work the furnaces and make them a little bit better so that the smoke would go where it was supposed to go, and not just in your house and out the window. And that like drastically changed the smoke situation, and it made it like permanently better.
Okay.
Until they got rid of coal and smoke and that whole sort of thing. But for that one day in 1939, like you couldn't see in Maplewood, Missouri.
I had no idea.
I didn't either. And there we are. That's what I know about that.
Have you guys ever actually got coal in your stocking?
No.
I
My dad always threatened, but we never did.
I have gotten
God, I guessed it, and I was right.
like, but it wasn't actually. It was just like super chocolate brownie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and like wrapped up in the saran wrap or whatever, and I just got like 3 or 4 of them. Like, oh, you got a stocking of coal.
What's
like,
the soap that I like? Do you guys know that has like the whiskey flavor and the beer? They make the beer. The ones you got us.
Oh, the one.
Yeah.
Whoever that is.
I can't remember the name.
They make one that I have it that's like coal. It's black. It's
okay.
Black, big old chunk of soap, and it smells like coal. And I have that at home.
I guess coal or like charcoal or whatever is supposed to be good for your skin.
People use it for their toothbrush.
Toothbrush.
Yeah, like
Ooh, I
toothpaste.
tried that. It makes me gag.
Does it?
Yeah, it's not. Yeah,
Is it like dirt?
Kinda.
I feel like it would be gritty, kind of like dirt.
It's like smoky dirt. Yeah, it's hard. It's tough.
It's also good for if you eat something bad when you're out in the wild. You can eat charcoal to make yourself throw up or neutralize if you eat a bad berry or something.
That's why I always put Kingsford charcoals in my fanny pack.
Just carry them with you just in case.
Yep.
Yeah,
You never know. You never know.
You have a beer bad enough, you're going to chew on some charcoal, right?
You end up at a park with some raw meat, and I guess you're set.
And you're set.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you're, what was the name of the kid on The Simpsons? The Chief Wiggum's kid, Ralph. Ralph
Yeah,
Wiggum.
Ralph Wiggum.
These berries taste like burning. That's one of my favorite Simpsons when he's eating the berries and they.
Yep.
Yeah, that's still my favorite. The Lord of the Flies episode. Yeah. All right, so let's talk about the style
Okay.
of beer. So, since we have a beer expert with us, right?
We do.
And I say that because, one, because his beard denotes expert, but two, because he next to Aaron Daly might be one of the
He's
smartest beer
the
guys,
top
right?
guy. Yeah.
So Oud Bruin means old brown, obviously. Yeah. Also known as a Flanders brown.
Yep,
So I've
Flanders
had
style.
Flanders
Yeah.
Flanders
red.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was a Flanders Brown.
Stupid, sexy Flanders.
Stupid, sexy Flanders.
Back to
Again,
Simpsons.
The Simpsons. Is a style of beer originating from the Flemish region of Belgium, which we've talked about before.
Sure, yeah.
The Dutch name refers to a long aging process, up to a year. So each one of these would age up to a year.
Yeah.
Now, in the case of the Medler, the one I brought, clearly multiple
Longer,
years.
yeah.
Yeah, thanks, COVID. I would have drank this sooner. And is followed by undergoing a secondary fermentation, which takes several weeks to a month, and is followed by bottle aging for several more months. The extended aging allows residual yeast and bacteria to develop a sour flavor characteristic for this style.
Yeah.
So, and I think you get a little bit of that, like the characteristics of these. The Bruin from Side Project is a little more sour.
Yeah.
Whereas the Medler that has been aging for a while is a little less sour.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a little more brown than it is sour, where Bruin from Side Project is a little more sour than it is brown.
That one's definitely more tickly. Which I think that's why I prefer that one.
Is that the one you prefer?
Yeah.
Kyle, which one? I think I know the answer to this. You clearly like the Side Project more.
No, the other way.
Really? Okay.
Dang.
Well, I mean, it mellowed out quite a bit.
Yeah.
Dolan?
I think, man, I don't know, because I'm a fan of super sour, puckery beers. So I think I'm gonna go Side Project on this.
Okay.
But I know why you would say Odell, because you talked about how you like the balance. I think that one is a little bit more balanced between brown and sour for sure.
Yeah.
You definitely get more of that oaky, barrely stuff with that one.
I'll be honest, I'll drink either. Either one of them is fine.
Yeah, they're both really good.
I mean,
see-
just looking at them, they look pretty similar.
They look
in
very
the glass.
similar.
I think this the Odell one would be good at every single location except for the one that we went to. So
Would that be the 5 Points location?
Rhino District? That's all I know.
Yeah,
You
Rhino
went to the
District.
source.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, that's the second one. I've been to the main location,
I
to
have
the
too.
one there in Fort Collins.
Yeah,
I think the
have
Rhino
beautiful.
one.
Yeah.
The Rhino one's pretty new, right?
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Their manager wasn't very nice to us, but that's okay. We went across the street and we found some. We found other nice
Riot
brewers.
Brewing, I think.
Yep.
That's what it's called.
Yeah, it was
Ratio.
Ratio. That's where we had the carrot saison.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
okay.
the
Don't like
carrot cake?
saisons, but the carrot saison was
No.
great.
I don't even
Just
think it was
straight up
carrot cake.
We
No,
had
it
that
was
on
just
this episode. We had
carrot.
an episode of that.
We
Yeah,
did.
Yeah, I remember that.
Courtney Fagusha, traveler for Adam Collette, was on the episode with Rich and I.
Yeah.
We filmed on location, and
Nice.
she pretended to be you, Brian. So that was,
I remember
There we go.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you type up a whole sheet for her to read like Brian does?
She came with no notes,
No.
and
Oh.
she
Yeah.
killed it. It was
Nice.
she did a nice job.
but she's a beer nerd herself. I mean,
Yep.
she grew up in the Boston area, so she, or I think she did, or she lived out there for a while, and she was very familiar with like Treehouse and Trillium, and
Yep.
yeah. So just had a meet and greet there. And
Those ones we hear about.
Absolutely.
Get to have
we don't
very
get them
often.
as often, but
Yeah.
no. So the style's ABV, and Dolan touched on this a little bit, ranges wildly from 4% at the lowest to 11% at the highest. I don't know
Holy
if I've
crap.
ever had
11?
an 11.
No, not me.
Never. Have you ever had an 11%?
I don't think so. I think
No.
Duchess is only like 9.
And
That's
Duchess-
my wife's favorite beer. Is
What?
Duchess.
Duchess.
Yeah. Yep,
and
she
that
loves
tastes
it.
like straight vinegar.
Yeah.
Quite honestly.
like that super puckery.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
We have that always in the fridge at home.
It's like sticking
Interesting.
your tongue on a battery.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to drink that, you might as well.
Well,
Fresh Duchess to me has a little bit of a sweet and sour because it's sweet up front and then you get the bite in the back.
yeah.
If you can get it on tap, which is rare around here, but you can. There's a
Rare.
couple places around that have it. Mm-hmm. It's super good.
Yeah. So the American versions tend to be on the higher side. Imagine that.
Americans love to get hammered.
Yeah, we like our ABV.
Yep.
And the more traditional Belgian releases fall between 4 and 8%. Bittering is decidedly low, which I guess I can see that
Yeah.
in these. With the sour quality, a nice substitute for any hops presence. So if you're not a hops guy in beer and you want the more sour, then this is again why I gravitated towards this early in my beer journey. I didn't want the hop flavor; I wanted the sourness.
Yeah.
And that's where I got it from. So you will get dark fruit flavors.
Yep.
Like raisins, figs, dates, dark cherries, and prunes.
Most of those fruits I would never eat in my life. But I'll drink them in a glass.
I like them, especially around the holidays.
Cherries are good, but
Cherries are great.
That's where I'll draw the line.
Yeah.
I can do a fig.
I mean, I've been turned off figs from Indiana Jones. You know what I mean? Where that monkey died?
Temple of Doom? No. Last Crusade.
Yeah, Last Crusade. He was eating those figs. And
Bad dates.
Bad dates. And he died. He grabbed them.
Yep.
Yeah.
dates.
No, I can't do no dates.
Trying to kill Indy. I mean, he's smarter than that.
Almost worked.
Poor monkey. The malts contribute caramel, toffee, orange, molasses, or chocolate flavors to it. So that's where you get that from the malt. So stone fruit and then malt comes together to make the what you're getting.
Kind of is a good holiday beer flavor profile.
Yeah.
I could do a nice turkey sandwich with these.
Yeah.
So where's your cot going after this episode?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. A nice, good high ABV. Well, high-ish ABV.
Well, the 8.6 I'll get you, I think.
Yeah,
For
maybe.
sure.
Yeah.
Basically 9, right?
I mean, if you're rounding up, yes.
Round up.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right? That's the accounting rule. If it's past 0.5, you round up.
Okay,
That's
so
right.
I'm familiar with lactobacillus.
Yeah,
right?
lacto, yeah.
That's one of these. But then there's also oh my goodness.
Pediococcus.
There we go. Yeah. What
You
is
know
that?
what he said.
What is that?
That's just another one of the sour bacteria they use.
Oh.
Okay.
Because lactobacillus should be what's in yogurt, if I remember right.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Those are the two souring agents. So pediococcus.
No Brettanomyces?
No mention of Brett whatsoever in here. So now I guess on some of them it probably crosses over into that. But no. At least on what's the one from Colorado?
Have we had it on here?
We have not.
Okay.
They use Brett. Predominantly that's what they do, and it's a sour brewery.
Crooked Stave.
There we go. That's one. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. All of them are that. Those are all Brett beers.
Yeah, Brett's faster than lacto and pedio.
Is that how like in how
In
quickly
time,
it
yeah.
sours?
Yep.
Oh. See, science.
And you'll also get the nice like funk ring on
get
the
that
top of
funky
your beer.
stuff. Yeah.
You'll get like the funk top on it, where it has this bubble that looks like a whitish, and it looks like it's molding when you're using some souring.
Especially if you're like homebrewing it. Yeah. You have to cut the cap.
Gross. That's gross. Really?
Well, yeah.
I don't know, but like so what? So do they not use any of that in like maybe like a lambic or something, or is that just like naturally fermented into a sour? Like how does that work? Do you know?
Lambics, actually, traditionally, they brew them. They put them in a cool ship at the top of the building.
Uh-huh.
That is open air. So
Yep.
it's spontaneous fermented most of the time. Or when they build a new brew house with the cool ship room at the top, they'll actually take like a gallon weed sprayer and fill it with like a yeast culture that they stole from the old one.
Okay.
And they just spray it all over the rafters to infect it with their biome of yeast and bacteria.
Do they still have to cut the top or anything like that? No.
Because
Interesting.
it's open.
Okay.
It's
Gotcha.
a cool ship is basically like the big as this table, and it'd be like a foot deep, except for
Which
it
is-
takes up the whole attic.
Like what Anchor Steam.
Oh, right.
Right.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That grosses me out though, especially the open fermentation ones. That totally
Just like
grosses me
anything that
out.
floats in. Like some cottonwood seeds or
Bird poo.
Bird
Yeah.
flies over. Yeah.
The
Right.
hedgehog falls in.
Right.
Beggars can't be choosers, man. That's
Dead
how it works.
frogs. You name it.
I don't know how the frog's gonna get to the top of a building, but
Oh,
They could.
they could.
I'll bring in my pocket.
They definitely could.
some flying frogs going up the tree.
All right. So, moment of truth. If you had to choose between the two of these,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we already know. I
Are we
would-
all saying side project?
I-
Well, he's not. He's not.
Look, I'll drink either of them. I always kind of default back to the Meddler anyway.
Okay.
Now, I wouldn't
Okay.
kick Side Project out of
I mean,
bed.
I have Meddler in my fridge, but that's because I can't get side
Right.
project. But yeah, I would choose side project.
I'm going side project too. I think I've said it before. Like this is something that I could give to my wife and we can enjoy together, and that's something that I like to do.
It's just
So,
exciting. There's
It is.
There's stuff happening in
it's
there.
a lot
There's
of punch,
yes.
and I like that.
Yeah, me too.
And Kyle, I guess I'm kind of surprised. You would choose the Odell beer.
Yeah, I think I could drink this at any temperature, any time of year. And the beer doesn't have to be super cold or fresh. Like, obviously, this is an older aged version of it, and I still think it's enjoyable.
Yeah. Yeah,
Interesting.
going back to back has been fun because it's like you go to the super sour one with side project, and then you're like, okay, now I need to clean my palate. Here we go.
With
and
the
it's
meddler.
like, yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go to Untapped then. So,
Wait, you didn't say. You didn't say what you would choose.
oh, I said I would drink anything.
Okay.
Right.
All
But
right. Anything.
if I had to choose, I would choose the Meddler just because I would go. It was one of my first, right? And it's
Nostalgia.
All right.
yeah. It reminds me of the good times before when I was just learning.
Okay.
And so now, again, I wouldn't kick Side Project out of bed. So
Yeah,
that's
when the world of beer was new and exciting. Everything was new.
no.
There's not a whole lot of Flanders
No.
or Oud Bruins out there.
Nope.
You really have to look for them.
Like I said in the tease last week, if I see that on your menu, let's say I go to your brewery for the first time and I see you have an Oud Bruin on there, that's exactly what I would order first. No matter what. I don't care whatever. You can have sours, you can have IPAs, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I would order that first just because I want to try it.
Kyle, would you say that these two beers are a pretty good example of the style, both on both ends, or would they fall kind of in the middle, or what would you say?
I think these two would denote the wide range that the style has.
I think
Okay.
so too.
Yeah, I kind of think. Yeah.
Without
That-
even trying. Like, I didn't even anticipate that, but we really got that.
It worked out that way nicely, didn't it?
Yeah.
Look at the
Yeah.
ABV range, 4% to 11%. 4% is like a Belgian table beer, basically, that
Right.
you would serve to
The
medium-sized
children. Yeah.
I wish we lived in a place where table beer was the thing.
I mean, you
just
can
walk
make a
in.
table
I mean,
beer.
you can.
Yeah,
Your
yeah.
Side
house.
Project actually makes a table beer.
Well,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, table beer in the Midwest means Busch Light. That's unfortunately.
Well, that's yeah.
I think in the,
the
Midwest,
corn
that's-
can.
I think that's called more bathroom break beer because you drink a lot of a beer that has spent some time in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
True.
happens too.
Yeah. All right, so let's go to Untapped. The Meddler. We'll start with that one first because it's been around longer.
It's gonna have more.
9,200 check-ins
Okay.
on this. Where do you think we land?
I'm gonna say 3.68.
I'm going 372.
Kyle?
3.9.
You're close. 3.89.
Oh, that's real close.
Real close. Yeah.
As I
Nice.
didn't cheat because I didn't know I was going to be on this
That-
episode.
really close. That's
Yeah.
really, really close.
Yeah.
Okay, so then Bruin by Side Project, where do you think 389 check-ins?
Way-
Considerably less. Now,
4.12, I say.
to be fair, they've had 3 different versions of this, and this is the
Okay.
newest version.
I don't care. 4.12.
Okay.
4.12. Well, what are
Alright.
you? Are you going 4.25 on it?
Oh yeah, 4.25.
Okay.
I'm gonna guess that we're at. I don't think it's much different. I'll go 386.
Okay. Kyle?
405.
401. Close. Close.
That's close.
Right.
He's good.
Yeah.
You brought
Well-
on a ringer.
Right?
Yeah.
He didn't know before 5 minutes before. I'm like, hey, you want to do this? Sure, why not?
Okay.
And there we go. So I'm somehow not surprised though.
I'm not either.
No.
That's good.
And I don't spend a lot of time on Untapped, by the way.
Old Homer Rich on Untapped. This might have been one of my first check-ins ever. Was on the Meddler, and I gave it 5. It's my first 5s.
Have you ever just gone on Untapped and looked at all the beers you rated as a 5?
I have.
And you look at it and you're like, what the hell was I?
Oh, that would take me a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a few 5s I've rated that I'm like,
I mean, they do have an edit feature if you
do
need
they?
it.
But at
Yeah.
the time, though, at the time,
it was a 5. You know,
Yeah.
it was.
I'm okay with that. I'm
an
okay with that.
I'm an experienced rater.
Okay.
So it depends on where I'm at and who I'm with.
That's absolutely
kind of
true.
mood you're in, your
Yeah,
wallet.
it adds to it. And I will
Super.
definitely disclaim also if it's like a style I don't like, I'll say, hey, this is,
Not in my wheelhouse.
but it's probably a 4 or whatever.
Right.
I think one of the very first saisons I've had, I don't remember what it was or who it was by, but it was at Lead Belly when it existed here in Omaha. I miss it already, but it came out. It looked like orange juice,
You know?
and I'm like, what is this? And tasted like perfume. So
yeah.
That's why I don't like saisons.
I'm pretty sure I rated that beer like a 0.25.
Oh,
But I feel like if I would go back and try it again,
yeah, at
knowing
least-
that I don't like saisons,
I'd at least get a 1.
it would get maybe a 0.5.
Since we're talking
Maybe.
about the world of Untapped, I do have another podcast idea for you guys.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right.
For the worst reviewed beers on Untapped,
Just
somebody
Oh,
reviewed one of White Elm's beer and said it tasted like dick soap, and Colby posted that on Facebook and responded, "How do you know what dick soap tastes like?"
that's a good question.
That
That was
is a
my
really good
question.
question.
So if you find the worst reviews on Untapped and then find those beers, you can read the reviews, try them, and then see if you agree with the
worst
review or
beers
not.
of Atlas.
That's a good idea.
You know what? Dick
I like
soap
it.
isn't that bad.
Wow.
You specifically buy soap for that part of your anatomy?
Where do you get that?
It's a multi-use soap. I'll use it in a couple of areas, but yeah, for sure.
All right.
There's soap out there that brands themselves that way.
Oh yeah,
Really?
I think that's the charcoal one.
yeah, it is.
We have
It gets
gone
the-
off the rails.
It gets the funk off.
Okay.
I
All right,
guess.
here we
Okay.
go.
All
Yeah.
right.
So definitely can't
Feet,
make a sour with that
pits,
bacteria. Okay.
Crotch, is that where you...
Yeah, that's-
is
Don't
that
give him any
your-
ideas.
That's the
They've
holy
made
trinity.
it from lady parts before.
Oh, I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeast from lady parts.
Oh boy. No, I've heard of that too. As much as the dude combed all the yeast out of his beard.
Beard.
That's
Yeah.
Sam Adams.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, that beer.
I think Rogue did it as well.
Yeah,
I think so,
that's
too.
true. Rogue has
Yeah.
done that.
Beard guys are weird. And beer guys are weird.
Bearded beer guys are the weirdest.
Yep.
They're cool to hang out with though.
They
so-
are. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm not culturing yeast from my beard, so you don't have to
Oh,
worry if I
man.
give you any homebrew. It's not
Come
from my
on.
beard.
But if you do apply to Atlas in any way whatsoever, it does go through Kyle's hands first. So you will have some, if not limited, interaction with him. in that
Digitally
way.
rubbing your fingers through his beard.
Digitally, maybe, yes. yes.
Double meaning digitally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Digit. Oh, smart.
wasn't thinking of that.
Dad joke.
There you go. All right, we are. If I'm counting correctly, Dolan, is this
This is 204.
So we're getting.
I believe.
we are getting close to Oktoberfest beers.
Maybe 205.
Oh my snap! Are we really?
Right? Kind
Oh,
of.
Rich's favorite style.
Oh man, yes.
Yeah,
Wow.
I
I'm
know.
starting to think ahead already. I can close my eyes and I can see the orange Sam Adams Oktoberfest bottles at the Hy-Vee. I
Yeah.
can imagine that they're there already. It's been so long.
All right, but let's skip over the Oktoberfest beers. I'm ready for some pumpkin spice. Come on.
Let's get to those
I didn't know
beers.
you were a basic white girl.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Every year I got my Ugg boots, my flannel. Let's go.
He is. He totally
And
is.
your man leggings.
Yes.
They taste so good.
Oh, Kyle, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. Thank you
Yeah,
for bringing
thanks
that,
for that
beer.
beer, yeah.
That was awesome.
For sure.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And as always, we're not going anywhere for a while.
Let's have another beer.
Thank you for listening to A Beer with Atlas. Special thanks to our brand team for producing the show. Each episode of A Beer with Atlas is powered by Atlas MedStaff, an industry leader in travel healthcare staffing.